Welcome to System Dynamics Online Tutorials. In this particular session we're going to cover job material usage entry under the Production Control Manufacturing Suite of Dynamic 3i. When we first come into the application, we're actually presented in a query mode, so it actually looks like this, with a transaction date asking us for the job that we wish to do material usage on. And this allows us to make transactions and to relieve inventories for any of the items that make up a structured component. So we can actually use the list of values here to show all of the jobs that we have in the system that are available to actually do material usage on. And if we actually pick one and populate, the top product that's being produced is displayed along with the warehouse where it's being manufactured. If we query this job into the application, we will receive all of the components that are on the work order to actually make up this particular run for this job. So what we can see here now is this particular product is made up of all of these components down here. If they were subcomponents, i.e. they had other jobs that had to be created to make these, then the status of those work orders would be here, and the required quantity is the amount required for this particular job. The system on this side is where we're actually going to do the material usage. Now, manual material usage is actually done when there is something different than what the structure called for, and primarily that means I either used more of a particular product, a subcomponent, or I'd used less, etc. It allows me to actually put the actual quantities used. If I wanted to just relieve the inventories with the quantities based on the structure, I could have used the automatic job material usage, which relieves the inventories at the predefined amounts or quantities. So what we can do here is simply just show the transactions for doing material usage. We can prior to that, this lot bin information is if this is a lot bin product, or if there is if these items here are lot and bin controlled, then the system's going to ask me for the lot and bin as to where I'm actually pulling that information from, and this allows me to actually see that information for each one of these detail lines down here. What we want to do here is actually do the material usage for this job, so we actually come into the first screen is, or first field is the movement code, and actually we want to take the particular product from stock, or we want to define this usage as it's scrap or it's abnormal scrap. Scrap is quantity that is basically accepted for the particular job. Okay, so there is a certain tolerance level, a certain amount of scrap that's going to be used for this particular product, and we're going to track it as normal everyday scrap against the running of the job. Abnormal scrap is something that I'm going to do an issue of material against this job for purposes of breakage or bad product or something like that. So I can actually track that material as it wasn't just normal accepted scrap, it was something we had a problem. We dropped a skid, we broke all the bottles, etc., etc., and we have some abnormal scrap that we want to inject into this job. So we'll take this particular one from stock, and then the system automatically asks me for the quantity issued that I'm going to actually issue from stock. So if it was anything that I used of this particular product, I could just simply put it in. So we will actually put we'll use 72 380, a little more. And what the system will now do, it will automatically upon commit, it will automatically default to the operator that I'm actually in, or I could actually input the operator here as a valid person who actually did this issue. So it tracks who did the particular issue against that against this job. So we can actually trace back as an audit trail of who did the issues. It will default to who I'm logged on as. So if I was John Smith, it would actually default to myself after the actual commit, or if I'm actually doing the particular usage entries, I could actually just pick one, and that particular person will come in with their employee number. Now the final flag is if this is the final usage entry that I'm going to put against this particular material, I could set this final flag on, and what the system will do is it will not be seen again for material usage. It's actually finalized, it's done, it's had all the transactions done against it. If there's going to be future usages against it, leave the final flag off. It's best to probably, especially on a new implementation of the manufacturing environment, to leave all final flags on so that everything is open and can be closed at one point at one time at the end of the job, instead of closing things off as things go along. However, it's a user choice that can be made. So we could actually go on to the next record here and simply choose bottles, and we could actually do a usage of scrap of bottles, and made an issue of 100 is going to go down to scrap, and the person who did that again would be the operator 2. And simply, just if those are the only two usages that I'm going to do against this particular job at this point in time, I can just simply save this to the database, and the material usage is complete and confirmed. And that can at this point in time now, you can actually see, because of that usage here, the required quantity has gone into a negative situation. So right away we see the discrepancy between what was required and what was actually issued. We actually issued 20 more than what was actually required. So it's just an online updated quantity within that particular component. And that concludes job material usage entry.